Hi guys, today I'm going to make a yummy dessert. It's called Badushah. It's from, I guess people make it all over India. In the north it's called Badushah, and in the south, in Andhra where I grew up, it's actually called Badushah. It's your Indian equivalent of a donut. It's made from all-purpose flour, some butter and sugar syrup, and some slight Indian spices to give it that beautiful aroma. All the stuff that's bad for you, but it absolutely tastes yummy. If you can eat it in moderation, just have a piece or two, I'm sure it'll be fine. And I just made it, and here is what it looks like. And I'm going to show you the process now. See you on the other side. Okay, first I'm going to start with a cup of all-purpose flour and add just a wee bit of salt to make sure the sweet is just not too overpowering. And then what I did is to add to this mixture just a little bit of, like, maybe a quarter spoon of baking powder and a quarter spoon of baking soda. I find that a little bit of each helps. And then once that mixed with the spoon, so that it's got a nice consistency, I added 2 tablespoons of yogurt that I found that helps a lot. And I mix it in. And then I took 2 tablespoons of butter and I melted it in the microwave. Maybe went for like 45 seconds or so. Added the butter into this flour, and I started with a spoon because the butter is pretty hot. And once the butter mixes a little bit, I'm going to start kneading the flour to get into this nice soft consistency, adding a little bit of water along the way. You don't want to add too much water at once, just a little bit along the way till it gets to that nice soft consistency, and do it for a few minutes till you feel it really soft, and then you put it in this bowl like that. That's what it should look like. Then I close the bowl with a plate or something and leave it closed. Meanwhile, I'm going to take 4 cardamoms and then mash them. Then a cup of sugar. I didn't have any sugar, so I actually put sugar cubes. It works fine in a pan. And then I also added half a cup of water. I started boiling it, and then I added the crushed cardamoms to it, stirring it all the way just to make sure it gets that nice consistency. I also added a little bit of saffron here. I find that saffron gives a beautiful aroma to it. What I did is I cut a lime and put it on the side. And when the sugar syrup is formed, you got to be careful to make sure it doesn't get too hard. So what you need to do is you need to check the sugar syrup. You don't even want like a 1-string consistency. You just want it to barely stick between the 2 fingers, and then maybe like so, just break apart. Okay, when it gets to that consistency, you squeeze a little bit of lime in it and leave it outside to settle so that the sugar doesn't get too hard. Now you go back to the flour. It's been like 10-15 minutes now. You take the flour and you roll it into a long thing like this. Then you break it into small pieces, small balls, and then you kind of roll them in your hand into little flat things, and you press them in the middle to get that kind of hole, and you just put them all like that. You got to be careful that you don't press it too much. Now I put some oil in low heat, and then while the oil is still in low heat, I used sunflower oil here. I put in the things that the donut shaped ones, the Badushah, into it. And again, I kept it on low flame. This is not high flame, and you cook it for a while. And here you can see the oil is slowly boiling. But the trick is, as the oil heats up, because there's enough of that flour, it also cooks with it. I think I speed up a video a little bit here so you guys don't get bored of watching this. Once you feel like these things are puffing up nicely, as you can see here, they're getting a little bit bigger, they're absorbing the oil, they're cooking inside, and I keep moving them around a little bit, and you can see they're browning. Once they're browned reasonably well, I turn them around. Now I turn the heat to medium to medium high, depending upon your stove, and then I cook it for some more time. Here again, I speed up the video a little bit so that you don't get bored. Now what I'm looking for here is kind of like a golden brown consistency. I thought I should get it a little bit browner than usual. Now I took a plate and I put a paper towel on it to absorb some of the excess oil. And I keep turning these around. I wanted to make sure that it's cooked thoroughly on both sides, and also the little hole I made in the middle, try to get that to be as brown as possible. Again, I think here you need to watch the temperature. You don't want it too hot or too high. Then it's going to burn on the outside, not cook on the inside. So medium to medium high is pretty good. At this point, it looks like these things are done quite well. So I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to put them in this, plate that's got a paper towel on it to absorb a little bit of that excess oil. I'm just plating these guys. I'll try to speed it up a little bit. Okay, once these are all done, they should look like that. So you can see they're nice and golden brown, just a little bit of burn. Now I'm going to take these things and put them in the sugar syrup that I've kind of a little bit cool now, and set it on the side with the lemon juice. I'm going to put all of this fried dough, donuts, I guess, into this sugar syrup. I'm going to turn them around just to make sure they're covered with sugar syrup on both sides. And then I typically, after this stage, I let them set for, I don't know, maybe like at least 15-20 minutes, because I want the sugar syrup to be absorbed totally into these Badushah. And once they're totally absorbed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these things out of the plate, out of the pan. That's what they should look like. And I plated them. See, they look beautiful, nice and burned on the outside, but crispy and very soft on the inside. Now I took a little bit of pistachios and I ground them into little pieces, and I added on top of that. And there it is, Badushah. And if you open it up and look inside, they're beautifully flaky. The sugar syrup is all absorbed, and they taste fantastic. I hope you enjoyed it. That's Badushah by Raj.